Taking full responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful and immediate shifts you can make to change everything about how you live, work, and interact with the world. It's not always easy, and it's certainly not always comfortable, but it is absolutely transformative. When you fully own your actions, your decisions, your attitude, and your outcomes, you stop giving your power away. You stop blaming the economy, your boss, your parents, your partner, your childhood, or even bad luck. You start realizing that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you do control how you respond, and that makes all the difference. The idea of responsibility is often misunderstood. Some see it as a burden, a form of blame, or a reason to feel guilt or shame, but true responsibility is none of those things. It's a form of liberation. It's the recognition that you are not helpless. You are not stuck. You are not a victim of circumstances unless you choose to see yourself that way. The moment you decide that you are in charge of your life, you begin to see opportunities where before you only saw obstacles. You begin to ask better questions. Questions like, what can I do differently? Or how can I grow from this? Rather than, why is this happening to me? Or whose fault is this? People who take full responsibility don't wait for someone else to rescue them or fix things. They don't wait for the perfect timing or ideal conditions. They act, they make choices with intention, they learn from their mistakes without wallowing in them, and they don't let setbacks define them. This mindset doesn't guarantee that everything will go your way, but it ensures that no matter what happens, you'll be equipped to face it, learn from it, and move forward stronger. One of the biggest breakthroughs that comes with this mindset is the end of excuses. Excuses keep us stuck. They feel comforting in the moment because they allow us to offload blame, but every excuse is a chain that keeps us tied to the same patterns and the same results. Taking responsibility means you start recognizing your role and the results you're getting, good or bad. If your relationships are suffering, you stop blaming others and start asking how you've contributed to the disconnect. If your career is stagnant, you stop pointing fingers at your boss or the market and start examining your own habits, efforts, and mindset. Of course, this doesn't mean you blame yourself for everything or ignore genuine external challenges. What it means is that you shift your focus to what you can do about it. You can't control the weather, but you can carry an umbrella. You can't control other people's actions, but you can choose how you react. This kind of mental shift may seem small, but it changes everything. It gives you agency. It puts you in the driver's seat of your life. Another aspect of this mindset is how it changes your relationship with failure. When you take full responsibility, failure stops being something to fear or avoid. Instead, it becomes a tool, a teacher. You understand that failing doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means something you tried didn't work, and now you have information you didn't have before. That insight is only possible when you're willing to look at the results of your efforts honestly and own them completely. This mindset also improves how you deal with other people. When you take responsibility for your communication, your reactions, and your part in any conflict or relationship, you become more self-aware and emotionally intelligent. You stop needing others to change in order for you to be okay. You stop waiting for apologies or approval. Instead, you take control of your side of the equation, and often that alone changes the dynamic for the better. Living with full responsibility also gives you confidence, real, grounded confidence, not because you think you're perfect, but because you trust yourself to handle whatever comes. You know you'll take action. You know you'll make things better. That belief in yourself isn't based on wishful thinking. It's based on evidence you create by showing up consistently, owning your life, and growing from every experience. Ultimately, taking full responsibility is about stepping into maturity. It's about saying, this is my life, and I am going to live it on purpose. It means no longer drifting, no longer blaming, and no longer waiting. The shift may not change your circumstances overnight, but it will change how you experience them, and that can change your life immediately, because the real transformation doesn't start when the world changes. It starts when you do. And nothing changes you more quickly or more powerfully than deciding once and for all that you are 100% responsible for your own life. Focusing on personal growth is one of the most valuable commitments you can make to yourself. It's not a one-time decision or a temporary project. It's a lifelong mindset, a way of seeing yourself as a work in progress, always capable of learning, improving, and becoming more than you were yesterday. It means choosing development over comfort, progress over perfection, and purpose over passivity. When you embrace this focus, your life begins to expand in ways you couldn't have imagined before. Everything starts to shift: your perspective, your energy, your confidence, and your results. Many people wait for life to force them into change. They wait for a crisis, a loss, a breakdown, or a major life event before they start asking serious questions about who they are, what they want, and what kind of person they need to become. But the truth is, you don't have to wait for pain to push you. You can let vision pull you. The mindset of personal growth means you actively seek out your next level. You don't settle. You stay curious. You treat each day as a chance to sharpen your skills, develop new ones, strengthen your mindset, and deepen your self-awareness. This kind of growth isn't always flashy. It doesn't usually happen in big, dramatic leaps. Most of the time, it's built quietly, in the small choices you make daily. It's built in the books you read instead of the TV you watch, in the time you spend reflecting instead of reacting, and in the effort you put into improving a little each day rather than staying stuck in old habits. The compound effect of these small actions is what leads to meaningful transformation. Over time, what once felt difficult becomes second nature. What once seemed impossible becomes your new normal. One of the most powerful aspects of focusing on personal growth is how it shifts your relationship with challenges. Instead of seeing obstacles as signs to quit, you start to view them as invitations to grow. Difficult situations, failures, and discomfort stop being threats and start becoming opportunities. You begin asking yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Or how can I become stronger because of this? That shift in thinking alone can change your entire experience of life. Instead of resisting growth, you begin to pursue it, even when it's hard, because you understand its value. Personal growth also requires humility. You have to be willing to admit that you don't know everything, that you have room to grow, and that no matter how far you've come, there's always more to learn. This humility isn't weakness, it's strength. It takes courage to confront your own blind spots, to receive feedback without defensiveness, and to be honest with yourself about where you're holding back or playing small. The more you grow, the more you realize how much more growth is available, and that's what keeps the journey alive. Another crucial part of this mindset is taking ownership of your own learning. You can't depend on school, work, or anyone else to provide you with all the knowledge and tools you need. You have to become your own coach, your own teacher, your own motivator. That means investing time in reading, listening, reflecting, asking questions, and surrounding yourself with people who inspire and challenge you. It also means creating space in your life for silence and self-inquiry. Growth often comes in the quiet moments when you're honest enough to ask yourself how you're really doing and bold enough to change direction if needed. Focusing on personal growth will also impact how you relate to others. As you evolve, your relationships will either deepen or shift. Some people may not understand your desire to grow, and that's okay. Growth sometimes means outgrowing old dynamics, letting go of limiting conversations, and choosing to be around people who uplift you and reflect the values you're trying to live by. When you grow, you become a better listener, a better communicator, and a more grounded presence. You begin to take responsibility not just for your own well-being, but also for the energy you bring into every interaction. It's important to recognize that personal growth is not about becoming someone else. It's not about fixing what's broken. It's about becoming more fully yourself, more honest, more intentional, more aligned with your values and vision. It's about shedding the layers that don't serve you and embracing the strengths, passions, and possibilities that do. It's a return to who you really are underneath the noise and the fear and the expectations. In the end, focusing on personal growth is a gift you give to yourself and to the world, because when you grow, everyone around you benefits. You become someone who leads by example, who lifts others, who doesn't just survive life but contributes meaningfully to it. You stop waiting for permission or perfection and instead start living with purpose. And the beautiful thing is that this mindset can begin right now. You don't need a degree, a mentor, or the perfect plan. You just need the willingness to ask, "What can I learn today?" and the courage to follow that question wherever it leads. That's how real change begins. Discipline is the bridge between your goals and your results. It's the force that keeps you moving forward when motivation fades, when things get hard, or when you simply don't feel like showing up. While motivation can be inspiring, it's fleeting. It comes and goes, often influenced by mood, environment, or circumstances. Discipline, on the other hand, is reliable. It's the internal agreement you make with yourself to act consistently in alignment with your values and long-term vision, no matter how you feel in the moment. Relying solely on motivation is like trying to build a house on shifting sand. One day you're fired up, ready to take on the world, and the next day you can't even get out of bed. That inconsistency creates a cycle of highs and lows, where progress is constantly being undone by periods of inactivity or distraction. Discipline breaks that cycle. It builds momentum. It builds trust in yourself. Each time you do the hard thing when you don't want to, you strengthen your identity as someone who follows through. Over time, that self-trust becomes unshakable. The truth is, nobody feels motivated all the time. Even the most successful people, the most productive or fit or accomplished individuals, have days when they feel tired, discouraged, bored, or uninspired. What sets them apart is not that they are always in the mood to act, it's that they've developed the habit of acting anyway. They don't wait for the perfect mood or the right conditions. They've trained themselves to stick to the plan, whether they feel like it or not. That's the power of discipline. It doesn't negotiate with your excuses. Discipline is also a form of freedom. At first, that may seem like a contradiction. Many people think of discipline as something rigid or restrictive. But in reality, discipline liberates you from chaos, regret, and wasted time. When you're disciplined with your habits, your finances, your health, your time, and your attention, you gain control over your life. You stop being a prisoner of impulses or external demands. You start creating instead of reacting. That structure, that rhythm, becomes the foundation for growth, clarity, and confidence. It's important to understand that discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. You're not always going to hit the mark. You'll have off days, you'll stumble, but discipline means getting back on track faster with less drama and more resilience. It's about shortening the gap between failure and recovery. The disciplined person doesn't waste energy beating themselves up. They refocus, re-engage, and continue forward. That kind of steadiness is what leads to real results over time. Developing discipline starts with small, repeatable actions. You don't have to completely overhaul your life overnight. Start by keeping one simple promise to yourself each day. Wake up at the same time, drink more water. Do 10 minutes of reading or journaling. Exercise for 15 minutes. It doesn't matter how small the habit is. What matters is that you keep the commitment. that consistent follow through is how you rewire your brain to trust that when you say you'll do something, you mean it. And the more you keep showing up, the easier it becomes to show up. You build momentum, you start seeing results, and those results reinforce your discipline even more. One of the biggest benefits of discipline is how it reduces emotional decision making. When you rely on motivation, you often ask yourself, do I feel like doing this? When you rely on discipline, the question becomes, what's the next step I committed to? That shift in thinking removes the mental back and forth that wastes time and drains energy. It removes the loopholes and excuses. You no longer need to be in the perfect emotional state to take action. You just take the action. Discipline also sharpens your focus. In a world full of distractions, temptations, and constant stimulation, being disciplined with your attention is one of the most powerful skills you can have. It means setting boundaries around your time. It means saying no to what's urgent so you can say yes to what's important. It means choosing the deeper reward of long-term fulfillment over the fleeting pleasure of short-term indulgence. That kind of focus is not something you're born with. It's built through disciplined choices made over and over again. Ultimately, discipline is a form of self-respect. It's saying to yourself, my goals matter, my time matters, my future matters. It's a declaration that you're willing to do what it takes to become the person you want to be, even when it's inconvenient or uncomfortable. It's not always glamorous, it's often quiet, even boring. But over time, it produces something motivation never could: real, lasting change. You don't need to feel inspired to act. You need to act in order to become inspired, and that begins with discipline. Valuing your time is one of the most important shifts you can make if you want to live a meaningful, productive, and purpose-driven life. Time is the one resource you can never get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can lose opportunities and create new ones, but every minute that passes is gone forever. The way you treat your time reflects the way you value yourself, your goals, and your life. When you start seeing time as a precious, non-renewable asset, your entire approach to life changes. You become more intentional, more selective, and more focused on what truly matters. Most people don't lose their potential because they lack intelligence, talent, or ambition. They lose it because they waste their time. They fill their days with distractions, meaningless tasks, and activities that add no value to their long-term goals. They live reactively, saying yes to everything and everyone, afraid of missing out or disappointing others. But every yes to something that doesn't matter is a no to something that does. When you understand this, you stop treating your time casually. You begin protecting it like it's gold, because it is. Time management isn't just about being organized. It's about being ruthless with your priorities. It's asking yourself hard questions like, what am I doing with my hours each day? Is this task getting me closer to who I want to become? Is this activity aligned with the future I say I want? When you value your time, you stop measuring your day by how busy you were and start measuring it by how effective you were. You focus less on doing more and more on doing what matters most. One of the biggest mistakes people make is acting as if they have unlimited time. They postpone their dreams, delay their goals, and put off the life they really want, thinking they'll get to it someday. But someday isn't a real day. Life is happening now. Time doesn't wait. Every hour spent scrolling mindlessly, worrying unnecessarily, or procrastinating out of fear is time you'll never get back. When you begin to truly grasp this, urgency sets in. Not a frantic, panicked urgency, but a calm and focused determination to make every day count. Valuing your time also means being mindful of how others use it. Not everyone respects time the same way, and if you're not careful, other people's agendas can consume your life. You have to learn to say no without guilt. You have to learn that setting boundaries is not selfish, it's necessary. Every minute you give away should be a conscious decision, not an automatic response. When you start treating your time as sacred, you'll attract people who respect it too. And you'll spend less energy managing chaos and more energy building your future. Another key aspect of valuing time is reducing time spent on things that offer little to no return. That doesn't mean you can't rest or enjoy leisure. Rest is important, fun is necessary, but there's a difference between intentional rest and numbing out. There's a difference between taking a break to recharge and losing hours to mindless habits that leave you feeling drained and guilty. When you value your time, you become more deliberate with your rest. You choose activities that renew your energy, not ones that leave you empty. You also start to optimize the way you work. You look for ways to streamline tasks, eliminate distractions, and increase focus. You realize that working long hours doesn't always mean working effectively. Sometimes less is more. Sometimes a focused 2 hours is more productive than a scattered 8. You stop glorifying busyness and start honoring progress. That means prioritizing deep work, setting clear intentions, and creating an environment that supports focus rather than fragments it. Valuing your time helps you live with more clarity and direction. When your time has a purpose, your life has a purpose. You wake up knowing what you're moving toward. You go to bed knowing that you invested your energy wisely. Even when things don't go perfectly, you have the peace of mind that comes from knowing you gave your best to what mattered most. And over time, those investments compound. The small, consistent efforts you make with your time lead to big changes in your career, health, relationships, and mindset. Ultimately, valuing your time is about living with intention. It's about understanding that your minutes add up to your days add up to your years, and your years add up to your life. It's about choosing to spend your time on what brings you closer to the person you want to be, the impact you want to have, and the legacy you want to leave. No one else is going to manage your time for you. No one else is going to guard your schedule or protect your priorities. That's your job, and the moment you take that responsibility seriously is the moment everything begins to change. Thinking long term is one of the most powerful ways to reshape your decisions, your habits, and your entire approach to life. It means you stop living only for today's comfort and start acting in alignment with tomorrow's goals. It's the mindset that separates those who drift through life from those who build something lasting. When you adopt a long-term perspective, you start playing a different game, one built on patience, consistency, and meaningful progress rather than quick fixes or instant gratification. In a world driven by speed and immediate results, long-term thinking is rare. Many people want rapid success, fast money, overnight transformation. But the most valuable things in life, health, wisdom, financial security, strong relationships, personal mastery, are built slowly. They take time, effort, and sustained attention. You don't get a fit body in 1 week, nor do you become financially independent from a single paycheck. You don't build deep, lasting relationships in a few casual conversations. These things grow over months, years, sometimes decades. Long-term thinkers understand this. They aren't distracted by how fast something happens. They're focused on whether it's real, sustainable, and aligned with their bigger purpose. This mindset doesn't mean you stop caring about the present. In fact, it makes you more intentional with your present actions because you know they're connected to something bigger. Each workout is not just about burning calories. It's a vote for a healthier, stronger version of yourself years from now. Each hour of focused work is not just about checking off a task. It's an investment in your future skill set, career, or business. Each small decision, what you eat, what you read, who you spend time with, is either helping you build a future you want or pulling you further from it. When you think long term, you become more resilient. You stop being thrown off course by every minor setback or slow result. You expect obstacles. You plan for the long haul. You understand that progress isn't always linear and that growth often happens invisibly before it shows up externally. This gives you the patience to stay consistent even when you don't see immediate rewards. It allows you to keep moving forward when others quit, and that persistence is often what makes the difference. Long-term thinking also makes you more strategic. You stop reacting and start planning. You begin to ask smarter questions. Where do I want to be in 5 years? What kind of life do I want to wake up to every day? What kind of habits would someone living that life need to have? These questions guide your actions far more effectively than simply asking what feels good right now. They create clarity, and with clarity comes direction. With direction comes momentum. One of the biggest shifts that happens when you embrace this mindset is how you handle discomfort. Short-term thinkers avoid pain, challenge, and effort. They look for the easy way. But long-term thinkers accept that discomfort is often the price of growth. They know that what feels hard today usually leads to strength, wisdom, and success tomorrow. They're willing to endure temporary sacrifice for lasting gain. Whether it's waking up early, studying late, saving money, or saying no to distractions, they do what needs to be done, even when it's not fun, because they're focused on where it's taking them. Another key benefit of thinking long-term is the ability to delay gratification. This is one of the most important traits linked to success in any area of life. When you can resist the temptation of short-term pleasure in favor of long-term reward, you start gaining real power. It's not about deprivation, it's about choice. You're choosing the future you want over the impulse of the moment. That choice, made again and again, becomes a lifestyle, and that lifestyle leads to results that others admire but few are willing to earn. This mindset also helps you navigate relationships more wisely. Instead of chasing temporary validation or superficial interactions, you begin to invest in people and communities that align with your values. You build trust over time rather than expecting it immediately. You communicate with honesty and patience. You seek depth instead of drama. Over the years, these investments in your personal and professional relationships lead to powerful networks and lifelong bonds. Thinking long-term is also about legacy. It's about asking what you're building that will outlast you. What values are you living by? What impact are you making? What example are you setting for those around you? When your vision extends beyond your immediate comfort or gain, your life begins to take on deeper meaning. You begin to act not just for yourself, but for something greater, for your family, your future self, your community, or even generations you'll never meet. That perspective gives your actions weight. It gives your days purpose. In the end, long-term thinking creates a sense of calm and confidence. You stop rushing. You stop comparing. You stop panicking over small setbacks. You know where you're going. You know it takes time, and you're willing to put in the work. That mindset doesn't just lead to success, it leads to fulfillment. Because when you're working towards something meaningful and doing it with intention and patience, every step along the way becomes part of a much bigger, more rewarding journey. Surrounding yourself with positivity is a powerful choice that influences every part of your life, your mindset, your habits, your relationships, and ultimately your success. The people, environments, and energy you allow into your life shape who you become. Whether you realize it or not, your surroundings are constantly sending messages to your brain about what's normal, what's possible, and what's acceptable. When you surround yourself with positive influences, you set yourself up to think clearer, feel better, and act in ways that align with your highest potential. Positive environments don't mean that everything is always cheerful or easy. It means you're immersed in support, encouragement, and honest optimism. It means you're around people who uplift you rather than drain you, challenge you rather than criticize you, and inspire you rather than limit you. Being in a positive environment allows you to grow without fear, to stretch without being judged, and to fail without being torn down. That kind of space is not just pleasant, it's essential for sustained progress and mental well-being. Your social circle is one of the most important sources of influence. The people you interact with daily shape your thoughts more than you might think. If you spend time with people who complain constantly, who gossip, who fear change, and who make excuses, it's only a matter of time before you start doing the same. On the other hand, if you spend time with people who are driven, kind, accountable, and forward-thinking, you begin to adopt those traits. You become like those you associate with, whether by encouragement or osmosis. Choosing to surround yourself with positivity also means being mindful of what you consume. Every podcast you listen to, every book you read, every post you scroll through is shaping your mindset. Are you filling your mind with messages that build you up, teach you something, or push you to be better? Or are you feeding yourself negativity, fear, comparison, and distraction? Your mental diet is just as important as your physical one. What you take in consistently becomes your internal dialogue, and your internal dialogue becomes the foundation for your actions. This doesn't mean you cut off everyone who's struggling or pretend that negativity doesn't exist. Life has difficult moments and people have hard days. Positivity is not about avoiding pain or pretending everything is perfect. It's about choosing hope over despair, solutions over problems, and growth over stagnation. It's about surrounding yourself with people and influences that, even in the face of adversity, choose to believe in possibilities. Those are the voices you need around you when your own voice starts to doubt. Sometimes, cultivating a positive environment means making tough choices. It means letting go of certain relationships, saying no to toxic conversations, or distancing yourself from situations that consistently bring you down. This isn't about judgment or superiority, it's about protecting your energy and honoring your vision. Not everyone is meant to go with you on your journey, and that's okay. It takes strength to recognize when something or someone no longer aligns with the life you're building. And it takes courage to walk away even when it's uncomfortable. Positive environments also come from how you treat yourself. If you constantly speak to yourself with criticism, shame, or doubt, you're living in a mentally toxic space, even if everyone around you is supportive. One of the most powerful forms of positivity is self-compassion. When you treat yourself with kindness, patience, and encouragement, you create an internal environment that fosters growth and resilience. That inner voice becomes your foundation when things get tough. It becomes your anchor when the world gets noisy. In many cases, creating a positive environment starts with being the source of positivity yourself. Be the one who uplifts, who listens, who encourages, who sees the best in others. Your energy is contagious. When you show up with intention, gratitude, and belief, you naturally attract others who value those same qualities. You become a magnet for the kind of energy you want to be around, and in doing so, you create a feedback loop of support, inspiration, and mutual growth. Even your physical space plays a role. Cluttered, chaotic, or uninspiring environments can weigh on your mood and motivation without you even realizing it. Organize your space. Fill it with reminders of your goals, things that inspire you, and symbols of your progress. A positive space reflects a positive intention. It tells your mind that this is a place where clarity, focus, and growth are expected. Even small changes, a clean desk, a motivating quote on the wall, a morning routine can transform how you feel and perform each day. Choosing to surround yourself with positivity is not just a feel-good suggestion. It's a strategic decision that affects your ability to stay focused, maintain energy, and navigate challenges. It strengthens your mindset, protects your peace, and accelerates your progress. And the beauty of this choice is that it's always available to you. You can start today. You can take inventory of what's around you, people, habits, influences, and start curating your environment like your future depends on it. Because in many ways it does. The energy you surround yourself with is the energy you become. Choose it wisely.